your mission moments. So now they're taping, and I feel under pressure. Okay.
Well, can you look at the camera, please?
Everybody's looking at me.
You need to give the camera to Andrea.
Can I just see me?
Yes, no. There.
Pretend you're sitting in front of your computer.
It's better to film from above. No woman ever lets me film from below. She's really little.
Yeah, she's short. Okay, people. Ava has the floor.
Alright, so this is my mission moment. I was talking to my friend recently about TNT, and I was like explaining it because I want to try to get her to join. And I was explaining the mission moments, and I was like, you know, it's kind of awkward because if you know, I joined this on a dare because my friend told me I could never run a half marathon, and I said screw you when I signed up the next day. So that's what I did.
Good for you.
But so that's why I started. But then they were like, Ava, what are you talking? You totally what are you talking about? You totally have a connection. And I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, tell your mugging story. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. I didn't even think about that. So I'm going to tell you my mugging story. But I was telling this to Rashawn, and so he was like, before you start, you have to tell him I didn't end up getting mugged. So, because it's scary in the middle. No, but like I have to, because he was freaking out when I was telling him. It ends okay. Like I'm okay. But so this is what happened. I had just moved to Brooklyn last year, and I was a transfer student. My credits got all screwed up, so I had to like go to some weird office in some place I'd never been. And my friend was gonna come with me, but I was like, no, like I could totally go alone. Like I live in the city now. I'm great. So I went alone, and I was in a neighborhood I'd never been in, and there was nobody outside. And I'm walking, and I'm like, all right, whatever, like, this is fine. But then, like, all of a sudden, there's somebody behind me, and I'm like, all right, well, you know, I'll just, whatever. Like, I'm being paranoid, whatever. All of a sudden, he grabs my arm, and he goes, give me your bag. Now, in my bag, I had just left school, so I had, like, my laptop, I had my textbooks, which were really expensive. And, like, I was just, like, freaking out. So, you know how, like, your mind goes, like, a million times a minute, like, you don't, like, so I was like, do I run? No, because I wasn't on TNT yet, so that would have been bad. So I couldn't run, and he would have caught me, and there was no one around, so I was like, even if I, like, yell, like, there's nobody outside. Like, I'm screwed. So the only thing I could think of was to be like, please don't mug me, you know what I mean? But, again, everything's going through my head. The only thing I could see on him, because the way he was grabbing me, was his arm, like this part of his arm. And I noticed he had just gotten a tattoo. Okay, because when you first get a tattoo, you have, like, the saran wrap over it, and it said, like, R.I.P., like, rest in peace, obviously. So he's grabbing my arm, and I'm about to say, you know, like, please don't mug me, but for some dumb reason, what comes out of my mouth is, I'm sorry for your loss. Like, I don't know why. So, I don't know why, again, like that, I just am weird. And so, this obviously startled him, because he's like, what is this crazy? So he goes, what'd you say? And he's still, like, grabbing me, and I'm, like, literally, like, freaking out. But I'm trying to, like, not be so freaked out. So I'm like, I'm sorry for your loss. Like, I know what it's like to lose people, and it sucks. Like, so then he's, like, yelling. He's like, who'd you lose? So I tell him, you know, I'll go through this quick, because I don't like to say it. But, when I was a senior in high school, my friends, we were at a party. We all went to leave. I called my mom or whatever. My mom was like, I wanted to go. Like, later, they were going somewhere else. And my mom was like, you can't go. You have to come home. I was like, Mom, this is ridiculous. I want to go. And she said no, and I didn't go. And a drunk driver hit them, and they passed away. And it really sucked. So I'm going to skip that part. But so I tell him this, and I'm like, you know, really, really sucks when people that are very close to you pass away and stuff. And so then I ask him, and I'm like, you know, if he's still grabbing me, I might as well just talk to him. And I'm like, so now I'm, like, consoling my mugger. And I'm like, I don't really know what's going on. And I'm like, you know, who is your tattoo for? And he says, my father died a month ago of lymphoma.
Oh, my God.
And I said, you know, it doesn't ever, like, go away, but it gets better. And you learn to think of the positive in things, and you learn to, like, I was in a bad place, and you learn to be, I was like, I ended up being happy again, and I think I am a happy person and whatever, and I was like, you're going to be okay. And when I said you're going to be okay, he let go of me. And so now I'm like, again, I'm really like, do I run? I don't know. He let go. I'm like, I really don't know what to do in this situation. So I just kind of was shocked. So I turned around, and I was like, you know, your father would be really proud of you for not mugging me today. I hope you have a nice life. And I turned around, and he let me go. So he let me go, and I walked away, and, like, yeah, thanks. But, so, you know, I'm not saying that, you know, like, his father, like, there's never a good reason to mug people. Like, he could, for all I know, like, him and his father could have mugged people together. Like,
Keeping it in the family.
I'm not saying that like, it's nice, like, or anything. But I am saying he was obviously, like, hurting and he was upset. And again, I know what it's like to lose people close to you and it makes you upset. And there's things that we can't control. Like, you know, like, we can't control drunk drivers or things like that. But we can raise money and do good and hopefully the money will, the money we raise will eventually find a cure. And people like my mugger's father will not have to die. And people like my mugger won't be so upset. So, yeah, so I'm running in memory of my mugger's father. And that's my story. Glad you enjoyed it.
I'm crying. I'm crying.
And it happened last year when I first told my friends about it. My friend told her sister, who's like a pastor upstate, and apparently like she used my story in like a church thing, which is kind of cool.
Caitlin's calling somebody.
But yeah, so that's my story.